Welcome to the Main Event Fightcast. I'm your host, Vega, alongside my co-host, Coach Mike. And this past weekend was debatably a good card. I think Mike was overly enthralled with the amazingness that he calls SummerSlam. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I did see the Roman Reigns moments, which I thought was obviously fantastic for the fans. Like we talked about before, I was like, as a storyteller, right, you let Roman Reigns come in because Cody Rhodes is losing as the hero. And that's exactly what they did. So maybe you're right. I should send them a little resume or some shit.
Guess what? And guess what today?
What?
Roman Reigns is listed as a babyface.
Oh, so he's a good guy again. That's what I'm talking about. So they're going to form a little alliance, and then after the alliance, they're going to have to go back to war again.
There might be a little pause to the action. Jacob Fantul got hurt yesterday.
Interesting. Do you think that that'll affect things heavily? Is that how like the storytelling works now?
Only because he just picked up the tag team titles the other day.
Okay.
But it'll be fine because they'll be able to move in. They have multiple guys, so he'll just the other brother, Tama whatever their names are. The brothers will be the tag team champions. But as far as pushing things forward, hopefully he'll be good enough for War Games. I gotta figure out exactly when that's supposed to be booked.
Do you know what exactly happened to him?
Yes, he jumped off the top rope into the announce table, put Cody Rhodes through it, and his leg buckled.
Oh.
Like he's known for doing I'm already forgetting the term of it. It's not coming to me right now, so whatever. But it's a term that tells you that they like acting like it didn't hurt them, even though they hit. He just pops up.
He does
it all the time. So he tried to pop up, and you see it buckle, and he's like, up. It went back down. Everybody called it. They're like, damn, he got hurt. Yeah. Sure enough, picture him with a boot.
Not the boot. So hopefully interestingly enough, keeping it in the WWE realm, just for a second, guys, interestingly enough, we were talking about this through text earlier today or yesterday at some point, and we were talking about how the fans got it wrong, right? Like, as much as we as fans call for things, we so often really don't understand what it is that we actually want. So now in this case with like Cody Rhodes, do you think Roman Reigns returning this early in was actually the actual plan, or is it kind of a response to the idea that like the fans are not really loving what's happening?
Absolutely, the plan was part.
No, it was definitely part of the plan. But like, did they bump up the schedule a little bit?
Not at all.
No,
not at all. He made his return in SummerSlam. Last time he made his return, and he was gonna make. Everybody knew it was gonna happen. And it was still good.
That's crazy.
Everybody knew it was gonna happen.
Crazy.
The question was whether they might slow it down and go Jimmy first. If Jimmy would have came and helped and been the reason why Cody wins. But they had Kevin Owens, Randy Orton.
Roman Reigns did numbers. I forgot the exact numbers, but he did numbers for the WWE in sales apparently. So big ups to them. Let's get to the UFC and let's kick it off with. Unfortunately, I got to be a little bit biased. I got to be a dirty man for a second. But yo, Mackenzie Dern versus Loopy Godinez was probably the best fight to watch, hands down. As far as like performance, everything going on in the cage, it was just, I thought it was a great performance. Great performance for
Mackenzie Dern.
And I had been on Loopy Godinez too, so like this is
Mackenzie Dern is always great to look at, and she's known to getting these scrappy fights because she goes forward. It's not technical. It's not technical in the slightest.
I wouldn't say not technical. She has some technical deficiencies. But I wouldn't say not technical at all.
But her boxing
Loopy
approach
was definitely way more technical, as expected. But like you said, you just can't count her out of the fight. She does not stop moving forward, no matter what damage, no matter what outstriking. It's just constant. And I think she showed a lot of improvement in her boxing. I think she showed a lot of improvement. There's still a ways to go.
It's more testament to her toughness of being able to take a shot, to be able to give multiple shots. And she always gets rocked.
I also think she did a lot of improvement in her head movement. Like before, her head was stiff as a board. Now I think Outside of the chin issue, the chin up in the air issue is just apparently never going to go away.
She backs up like this.
But before, I felt like her head was stiffer and she was a lot more loose in this fight with the bobbing.
It's not saying much considering it's still out there. She's still backing up like this.
I don't know. I think it says a lot because of who she was fighting.
When she's not
she's fighting someone super technical.
But she's the rangier fighter, so she was able to get away with backing up like this. If she's in there with somebody that's closer reach than her, than that, or just way smoother with the footwork, maybe like a Rose, they get a cracker.
Yeah,
they get a cracker.
For sure. I also dare say, to counter Rose cracking her,
not Rose per se, but just somebody that has that kind of footwork.
Improved her takedowns a little bit.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If we're going to talk about the improvement,
she definitely improved her takedowns.
The timing of the judo throw and
the one where she grabbed her and brought her in the air, those were both her hands. Fantastic.
I think the timing is better than her timing on it was on both those shots were way better than like, oh, her wrestling improved.
Yes.
She picked her shots. Yeah. She said she wanted to do more of it, but she didn't get stuffed, I don't believe, in any takedowns.
No, she didn't really get stuffed in any takedowns.
I don't think she.
But she still kind of, again, like I think she improved her takedowns a little bit. We saw some really good maneuvering, but we still saw
we didn't see a big dose. We didn't see a big dose, but it was nice.
Right. But we still ended up seeing the same airballing of takedowns, right? Like she literally will go for a takedown, and there's still like 2 feet of distance between her and the opponent. You know, that she's just reaching out at. Those sloppy takedown attempts, she still threw a lot of. That's where she's not getting stuffed, she's just missing.
We're being heavy on Dern. It was a razor-close fight, but it was so impressive how she took over the fights. First round, she was absolutely losing.
Nah, I think she was winning first round.
Well, in the
beginning of the first round, she was losing it for sure. And then she picks it up, saves herself, wins that round without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Second round, Loopy Godinez comes in. I think she did a decent job striking, but I think it was really the takedown that secured that round for her. And then third round, Mackenzie Dern just came right back into it, did the same thing over, and then that's when she got the big takedown. Mm-hmm. The submission attempts in the first round were really fun to watch. You know, as expected from Mackenzie Dern. Like that's really the scary part about her, which is why I was shocked to see Loopy go for the takedown in the second round. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You really trying to put her on the floor.
She's not really known to stuff the takedowns.
But being on her back is where the danger is. And that's where a takedown ends up. A good takedown ends up with you on your back.
Who knows? So, maybe Loopy felt like with her power she could have got her down and just back off of her. Knowing that she's going for the arm immediately.
Yeah. Which she did and almost got. That shit was really tight. And she did a lot of like in a crazy way, the biggest takeaway from the fight for any fighters watching this was the moment of the armbar. Right?
Yes, she was.
Yes, if you're not locking in the armbar, keep bashing the face in.
I wish I knew the name of that game where they pop when the
whack-a-mole?
Yes, that's exactly what she did.
If you got the armbar in a position where it's pretty closely secured and you can't lock it in, just keep bashing the head, get the damage, get the strikes in. So that was a big moment for her, I think.
She's always an exciting fight. Even in her deficiencies lead to exciting fights.
Yeah.
What level is it? It's always been pick and choose, which is why she doesn't have a big winning streak. She's a BMF. She's the BMF in the women's division. In my opinion, only her and Jessica Andrade could have that.
I still put up a fight for Amanda Ribas. The amount of bloody wars that we've seen her in, for me, qualifies her. You know what I'm saying? Like her fights get brutal every time, bro. And that's a big qualifier.
I don't see that yet. Not yet.
So
I don't think that Dern's is a BMF champion yet, but she's the one. She's someone that's building that BMF resume.
Right. If we're building a group of four women,
she has the closest to Nate Diaz aura out of all those women.
Yes.
The closest to Nate Diaz.
For sure.
Like somebody that's a jiu-jitsu kid, but is willing to stand and bang with you until
whatever happens.
Until I have to bring out my different tool belt, and it is what it is, and it's a good and it leads to good fights. Good fights. Even when she gets ran through, it happens pretty quick because she's not on her bike running from him.
Right.
She fights.
She's fighting.
She fights.
So for those who don't know, I am a filmmaker by day. So over the weekend, I was working on a horror short, so I didn't get to actually watch the fights live. I had to kind of recap them So we're gonna go a little bit out of order. That's what I was getting to with the notes. The notes are completely out of order. So going into the Figgy fight next.
Warning them of our craziness. We'll talk about boxing in between this. Relax.
At some point, right? The Figgy fight. I think that was a great fight between Figgy and Cheeto. I do not think Figgy is ready for a title yet.
For somebody that thought it would be a possibly boring fight, or possibly Figgy dominating because of the speed advantage and Cheeto's style of letting fighters beat him early and then come back, it was pretty good. It was a chess match, but if it would have been 5 rounds, I don't know if Figgy wins that. So that's definitely not a fight that gives him a title shot. The fans calling for that is crazy. But that's what's going on online.
It's a wild conversation to have because there's and we'll get to one of the big reasons for the next fight not being a title fight for Figgy, but I think the performance was good. I don't know what was up with Cheeto's aura. I feel like he was in a really dark space for this fight for some reason because he was really kind of aggressive towards Figgy for a lot of
he was a lot more aggressive than we probably expect out of him. Because
absolutely, but still not aggressive enough. Exactly. And I think that's going to continue being Cheeto's big issue.
Yes.
If he ever wants to get back to a title shot or being a champion at all, he has to up that aggression. He has to really start the fight with a much higher pace because this waiting till the middle of the fight or towards the end of the fight to try to go for it, it was a fun gimmick to start your career, but it's not gonna keep you going.
Yeah, but this was even in the loss. This is a stepping stone towards that,
right?
Because he absolutely was a lot more urgent earlier.
But even the urgency started in like the second round.
But he seemed to fade later.
I don't think he faded that much later.
It was one shots. I guess it's just a Cheeto style.
It's a Cheeto style. That's the problem. He has to elevate. He's
always a few inches or a foot, a toe actually sometimes
away from a knockout. And that's what I'm saying. He has to address as far as elevating his game. He has to take it to a place where he's not just super reliant on that, because I think he's relying on it so much that he's using the first round and the second round to study the fighter to the maximum and try to find that hole. And then the third round, he's just targeting that hole. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where change the game plan. You got to start really fighting from the beginning. Use less time to study your opponent. Spend more time actually going for it. And I think that'll be the elevation we want to see from Cheeto.
And it's interesting for him to be fighting Figgy, who's a similar style, which is why it could lead to a snooze fest.
It could have been a snooze fest. But even Figgy came out real aggressive and fast.
Figgy's speed is just...
That was the difference.
He's so fast for that division.
For sure. Even though the striking the striking number wasn't that huge in difference as far as what they landed.
It was a significant strike.
Figgy was just doing it in a faster, bunches pace.
Yes, like one of the big things that's been said about his move is the power has translated. And to me, I'm like, because it's power speed.
Right, and then to be the first person to knock down Cheeto.
Is that the first ever knockdown?
Yeah, it's the first official knockdown for Cheeto was Figgy getting that done. And I mean, for me, I think it still counts, but it wasn't a huge moment, right? It's like he got the knockdown, Cheeto got right back up and was right back in it. But it was still knocked down in the same way that
he lost his feet. He wasn't tripped. He didn't slip or nothing. The punch made his feet go out for a second.
The knockdown that they robbed Justin Gaethje of against Max Holloway was more impactful than what Figgy did to Cheeto.
Absolutely. Max said he woke up.
Exactly.
But
and Max took a couple, even without taking Max's word for it, like Max took a couple more seconds to get to his feet. Cheeto hit the canvas and right back up. It wasn't down for a second and retaliated instantly. There was a return fire right away.
Mind you, Figgy was hunting. Gaethje didn't run after him.
Yeah.
He
Did you catch the first fight of the night? This is one that I did catch live because we were on lunch while we were filming. Cedric Dumas versus Dennis Tulilan.
That was fight of the night?
No, that was the first fight.
I saw some of it. I did not see it all.
So my takeaway from this fight is exactly what it was going into the fight. These are two fighters that I like to see fight, but I didn't want to see them fighting each other because for me, they have the same exact flaws, right? They're both almost completely unaware of what to do once they start grappling, to the point where Cedric was really just kind of backpacking the guy in an ineffective way for almost a round and a half, bro, for the first round. So it's like...
Glad I didn't see it.
It was really, really unimpressive. And for as much as I like Cedric Dumas as a fighter, he has to really step it up with where he's at grappling. Now, granted, super early in his career still, right? I think this is like his second or third fight in the UFC. But this is something that I want to see really like put some huge focus into the grappling side of things and like turn it around, because otherwise I don't really see a lot of space where Cedric can continue moving up against competition in this division. And that would be sad because I think he's a really fun fighter sometimes. So.
Yeah, maybe I should watch it. Maybe I should watch it, even though it's not going to be a fun watch. Maybe I fall asleep at night watching it.
It was a weird, sloppy kind of fun fight where it's like, oh, something might happen here, or something might happen here. Like, it was just kind of like one of those.
Sometimes a little funny.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like, oh, kind of funny.
Because it's easy to say from our side, but it'd probably be what 95% of UFC fighters look like if they fought each other.
Exactly. Right. It's just kind of crazy. For me, that fight ended up working out huge as a bet because I was very confident that it was not going to get finished early. So that worked out fantastic. I don't know why the odds makers thought that either of them were going to get it done early. Like I said, I think they have the same exact holes in their game to exploit. So
I gotta see it. Like, damn.
It was a funny one.
Is it a mirror?
It pretty much was a mirror match, bro. It was great.
So-called mirror match.
Sam Hughes is the dog that I am always going to count on, bro. Anytime they put her as an underdog, I'm betting on Sam Hughes.
Good show.
I don't know if I'm betting on her as a favorite because I'm still very questionable. Her greatest asset is her cardio. That girl, third round, while Dudakova was throwing her body around, because I can't even really say she was throwing strikes or takedowns, Sam Hughes was chilling, bro. Like, her cardio was through the roof.
Sam Hughes was very impressive. Sam Hughes was very impressive. But you waited to we were talking about Sam Hughes to say the word asset.
Is that the first time I said the word asset?
Yeah, you did. We're not talking about...
Her greatest asset is cardio.
We're not talking about Derns anymore. You confused me.
Her greatest asset is cardio. I really enjoyed that fight. That was the one fight that I got to just kind of sit down and comfortably watch.
It was a great show.
So maybe I over-enjoyed it because it was the only one I could sit down and like really indulge and just chill with.
That was definitely the first fight I enjoyed. Was it? That was early prelims, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Early prelims.
Mm-hmm. Yep. First fight I enjoyed.
And then another guy that, again, I have no actual explanation as to why I enjoy watching this person fight, because it always ends up being disappointing. But Shamil Gaziev versus Dontel Mays was almost everything I expected it to be. Like, Gaziev has a very unique, weird body movement for such a big guy on his feet. Then it's interesting while he's on his feet. But once he gets to the ground, it just becomes a regular whale fest.
There's heavyweights that can wrestle, and there's heavyweights that can wrestle and grapple, or one or the other. Like, how many can do both? That I'm sure of, John Jones.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about it at heavyweight. We haven't been able to really see him at heavyweight to say that. At light heavy, we know for sure.
Volk is probably a better grappler than he is a wrestler. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah. So, the best grapplers that I can think of, best grappler wrestler combo that I can think of in the heavyweights is Blades. Will be the first person I think of. He doesn't wrestle enough anymore.
He's a great wrestler. I don't know that he's a great grappler.
I think he's a good grappler. Who else was I going to say? Almeida, right? Jailton Almeida, who Blades was able to stun to death with exactly what I was saying about Mackenzie Dern earlier.
I'm not sure we're ready to say he's a great grappler. He's great wrestler. He's definitely a great grappler. Sorry.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten a chance to see him against a wrestler because of the division.
Because he wears them down more than he gets knockout.
Clean transitions.
Clean transitions to the takedowns.
But that fight was just super sloppy and funny the whole way. I can't believe, I mean, I can wholeheartedly believe it didn't get finished, but it's still like every second of the fight, you're just like, I can't believe this hasn't been finished yet.
I mean, yeah, he hurt him every round, but you could
every
see, like,
round he dazed him.
He couldn't get the finish.
Insanity, complete insanity, in my opinion. You know who I have to give a lot of credit to? I'm still not giving him enough credit to say that he is that guy or he's gonna be that guy in any way or that the UFC should be pushing him as hard as they are. But Shara Magomedov definitely showed out this weekend. I think that, again, maybe I'm overly biased because I love people who use kicks. I think kicks are a super efficient way to strike. And Shara, unbelievable amount of kicks thrown. I think he for sure threw more kicks than he threw punches.
Well, if we're just talking about his kicks,
he's unbelievable, right? And you have to talk about the kicks because without those kicks, Michelle is able to do so much more, right? The kick, like he's using his kicks as jabs. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot he was fighting the guy's name is Michelle again.
Sorry, not Pereira.
I know.
I've also been saying it wrong. It's not Michelle. It is McCall. It's McCall, not
this
Michelle.
This guy's
McCall. This McCall is Zajac and is Michelle Pereira. So McCall, he was using the jabs against him. He was using his kicks as jabs, bro. Like throwing side kicks as jabs, throwing T kicks as jabs, like literally keeping a range.
It was starting and ending combinations.
It was amazing. It was amazing, bro. And then the elbow placement, the elbow that cut McCall was one of the most accurate elbows I've seen this entire year. Mm-hmm. Like it was just a step back and and then step back. It was like he was practicing.
It was an impressive showing, but he's not.
He's still not ready.
He's not ready for Michelle Pereira as we.
That's who you were reminding me. I suggested should be a great matchup, and I think after this showing, it would be a really fun matchup to see. They're both chaotic enough to make the fight exciting.
Well, for the fans, it'll be amazing for us to watch. But
it'll be a great test for Shara. Michelle's only ranked 6. Shara's now ranked.
I get it.
Shara will probably be ranked 9 or 8 now because
you think so?
McCall was ranked. Wait, did I mix that up?
I don't think he was ranked at all.
McCall was ranked, yeah. Let's see real quick. Let's verify that real quick first.
You might be right, but I didn't.
But I'm pretty sure that McCall was ranked like 8, and Nurmagomedov is ranked
middleweight.
Middleweight. Michelle. Oh no, neither one of them is ranked.
No, not right.
Yeah, neither one of them is ranked. Okay, never mind.
Michelle is ranked.
So Michelle Pereira is ranked 13. So that'll be a nice fight for him to get into the rankings. Because truthfully, Kyle Barado smokes him. Chris Curtis would be an interesting matchup, but I think he beats Chris Curtis in a pretty decisive way because of the kicking game.
I think Chris Curtis should want that matchup.
Yeah, Chris Curtis should want the matchup.
But
it's more of a Chris Curtis proving himself fight.
He'll be surprised because of the height advantage, man.
Right. But I think Michelle Pereira is the perfect entry point for him. Maybe Anthony Hernandez, but he most likely is outclassing Anthony Hernandez. If they want to go above 13 and put him closer to...
No, he don't want.
They can't even do that. There's
he don't want to go anywhere
It's
near.
Literally, it's Kyle, Kamzat, Roman Dolidze, Jack Hermanson. Like, that's a wild lineup, bro. Like, the middleweight division is so crazy stacked. It's outrageous, bro.
Like, the only person there that he should even think is that he has a chance with is Paulo.
Oh, my God, bro. This whole lineup is crazy. Sheesh. But that's exactly the point, though.
Maybe Jack Hermanson, but from what we're seeing, Jack Hermanson takes him down and subs him early.
Right, like, and that's exactly the point. Like, for the way that they're pushing him, I think that they're over-investing in this stock right now. Like, I don't think that this is somebody that they should be putting this type of attention on yet. I think if he can crack somebody in the top 10, the top 15, maybe start talking about it. But as of right now...
First of all, where he gets chinned is possibly a knockout of the year, right?
When he gets chinned?
Yes.
For sure, because it's going to be such a fantastic showing.
He's so wild and out there. Whoever chins him is going to have a highlight for their career.
That is going to be a...
Or he could keep growing with the levels. We will never know until he's under that danger.
But I know the ranking numbers I was thinking about. It was Umar Nurmagomedov versus Cory Sandhagen. Umar is ranked 10 and Cory's ranked 2. So Cory was willing to take that fight, prove himself for this contender opportunity. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. And again, last week I was very confident that Cory was going to be able to outstrike him because up until this point, like we were discussing earlier, up until this point in his UFC career, and even a little bit of fights leading up to that, like 1 or 2 fights leading up to that, when you're looking at the tape, Umar has shown himself to be a wrestler, right? To be that person who's going to strike a little bit to get to the point where he can take you down, and either submit you or hold it down, right?
We've seen him get chinned, and he went to his wrestling and gathered his thoughts.
So that was the expectation I had of him going against Cory. And he was that for the first round. He was that for the second round. Well, but by the third round, when he realized Cory really wasn't going down,
I was confident.
He turned into a striker I've never seen.
I was confident he would win the fight, and I thought he'd make it boring. It wasn't boring, but it had the potential of being boring. But Cory showed some great defense. Great defense on the ground. Like
great. But
he was getting taken down. No, not taken down. Giving his back a lot
to get up and getting up quick.
No, but even standing up, he was giving his back a lot, and he was never in danger.
Yep.
Never in danger.
Not once. But that's also credit to Umar, which is part of where I'm like, yo, the way he showed his striking and that he showed he's an all-around fighter was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was never desperate taking takedowns.
Right, he wasn't.
He shot. He didn't get it.
Stick to a wrestling game plan like I expected. I thought he was just gonna keep going Merab style, right? But honestly, like his performance puts him in a place where the true conversation right now is after Merab versus O'Malley. Whoever wins, unless of course we know O'Malley will get the rematch if Merab wins. But Umar's definitely next in line. And I think the only reason that he shouldn't take a fight, or that he should take a fight, the only person he should take a fight against, actually there isn't anybody, never mind. There's literally nobody that he should take a fight against. If he feels like it, he gets bored because he's waiting for the rematch with Figgy.
Who do you think is the most dangerous matchup for him?
From what we saw over this weekend, truthfully, I don't think there is somebody.
I think it's Petr Yan.
No. The grappling is too good. The grappling is where his problem, where he was a threat. For me, that was how he was a threat to the entire division. Grappling.
I've questioned why
the striking though that he just showed, for me, super impressed. I think that just solidified him as the biggest threat to the division, hands down.
I kind of feel like Petr Yan might be even cherry picking.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how we ended up in this position. Because Petr didn't want to take the fight against him. Song Yadong didn't want to take the fight against him. He already beat Rob Font, and he didn't beat Rob Font. Rob Font didn't get scheduled against him.
But Petr Yan been so inactive lately.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's thinking, why would I take the Umar fight now if he's possibly a real threat to the title?
There's a chance I can get him when he has the belt. Exactly.
He probably feels his next fight can easily be a #1 contender fight.
So I think
after that performance, which was a little dominating, it was dominating. It was a great performance.
Great performance. I don't think I wouldn't say it was dominating because it was a very fair fight.
I just don't think it didn't make me feel like he has a chance against Sean O'Malley.
Oh my God, I think he smoked Sean O'Malley. From what I saw, I'm sorry. And I was not on the side of the Umar until this fight. This fight literally changed my whole perspective.
You never said that one.
Listen, bro. What?
Sugar Sean?
Only because of what we just saw with the striking. Like, so do you believe that O'Malley smokes Cory in striking? Or do you feel like that's a pretty even match striking?
I think he outstrikes Cory.
But you think like by a large margin, or just outstrikes him enough to obviously win the fight?
Might knock him out.
Yeah? I don't see a knockout. I think Sean O'Malley outstrikes Cory enough to win the fight 9 times out of 10. I think
Cory's a lot more aggressive against strikers than he was this Saturday.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I don't think that he leaves. I don't think he's the type, like, he hasn't shown us that he leaves openings to get knocked out.
Maybe not to get knocked out because he has a pretty good chin.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So
but the openings are I think
that
especially
Sean O'Malley,
especially him always being the rangier fighter and being up against somebody who's just as rangy as him, just as long.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that Sean O'Malley outstrikes him to win the fight 9 times out of 10. I don't know about a knockout, but I do think Sean O'Malley beats him, right? However, with what we saw with Umar with the takedowns, I don't think that we saw that type of takedown defense from Sean O'Malley yet against anybody. And that's where Umar comes in with a difference, because not only does he have striking that matched Cory's, no matter how you feel, whether you think he outstruck, whether you think O'Malley outstrikes.
He won't purely match him just striking. So
not just striking, but
he outstruck him while fighting him in MMA.
While fighting him on the ground, he was able to match him.
The same way Bilal Muhammad just outstruck Leon.
Right. In
same
MMA,
way he was outstriking
with the
him.
threat of the takedown, you were able to keep the striking on even playing field. I think he does the same thing to O'Malley, but O'Malley doesn't have the takedown defense. I think that's the difference.
That's.
And remember, I was completely against Umar.
Yeah,
before.
we have.
I was
completely
against Umar before.
We have completely shifted.
Definitely, if you talk about somebody who changed your mind in a fight, in one single fight,
we have completely shifted.
In one single fight.
He had Cory. We both love him, and this is what he didn't know. I love Cory Sandhagen.
Yeah, I thought he knew more about Umar than he did.
I'm a fan of the Sandman, but I just thought that like. Umar had him. Like I was confident Umar will have him and probably even make it a boring fight.
I was confident in Cory's takedown ability, and that's what led me to believe Cory was going to get the knockout, because I thought he was going to have that much superior striking that once he was able to defend enough takedowns, that knockout was there.
You have to check your confidence, because his takedown defense isn't amazing. But he has some great work.
I think
he has some great.
I think the Aljo fight was where he was taken advantage of with his takedown. From that point, he developed enough. Where, like I said, that point.
That's why I've said that was a much greener Cory.
I wouldn't say much greener. He just hadn't really had to deal with a lot of takedowns
in the grappling aspect.
In the grappling aspect, completely different Cory.
It was a lot more green.
Yeah, so that is. A wild one. So we were talking about the fact that they recently announced UFC 308, and the biggest highlight of that announcement, the biggest kind of I don't want to say controversial point, but the biggest kind of talking point from that is the fact that we're getting Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic instead of Alexander Pereira. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Because some of the internet has definitely been speaking on the idea that Pereira's ducking.
Let me first say what I initially thought. I don't think Pereira's ducking. I think the UFC is not loving that matchup. They're not willing to give Ankalaev a title shot right now, especially in a situation where they probably see it like Ankalaev has the easiest way to win with wrestling, even though he tries to assure them that I'm gonna strike.
I need everybody to stop doubting my boy Glover Teixeira. Okay? There's no way. Y'all being way too disrespectful to Glover at this point. There's no way Glover is coaching Pereira and leaving holes in his grappling. I'm not.
But I'm talking about from the perspective of the business.
No way.
They do not want that stardom to just die out right there when Izzy could have said all he wanted about I'm not gonna fight him again. Because I don't think it's the Izzy fight.
I don't think the moneymaker's the Izzy fight anymore.
Well, that's what the internet started to convince me.
I think the real thing that they're waiting on, and this might shock people, but it might really come to fruition. The real thing they're waiting on is trying to keep Alex with the belt, so that once Jones is gone, or whoever has that once this whole situation is resolved with Jones, Aspinall, and Stipe, they can do the super fight. If they keep Pereira with the belt for that point, and honestly, if Jones and Stipe actually happens in November, right? Pereira really only has to wait till like March for that super fight to happen, because they can do the heavyweight in like February.
I just don't like them trying to plan that ahead of it. That's like planning almost 2 fights ahead.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a wait. But with the options of like having him fight someone else in heavyweight.
So to me, it's more realistic to see when you see a picture of Izzy saying he's at 230 at the moment, about to cut weight to 185.
That could be the other option as a super
185. Fight. Because the thing is, Izzy said that there was no reason for him to fight him again after he knocked him out, took the belt.
Right.
But at that moment, what was Alex known for? The guy that beat Izzy. Now, off that loss, he let him build his own resume or legacy off the UFC, in the UFC, which is still a similar path. He went and fought Jan, who I keep saying was his closest
toughest fight. Toughest fight today.
Toughest fight at 205.
Yep.
I
think in general. Even with the Izzy knockout, wasn't. Remember that happened as a wonderful counter.
I think his debut at 205 was the same as his debut to the UFC to me.
When they were equal?
Yeah, when he fought Bruno,
I can't argue that.
When he fought Bruno, it could have
that's a fair thought.
When he fought Bruno, that decision was one of those you're like,
yeah. Is this guy really the guy? Yeah.
No. It's a matter of the judges could have scored it either way. That was tough to score.
Yeah.
Jan, it was on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
It was on a bigger stage, and I'm like, it's almost a matter of you like wrestling or if you like striking.
Yep. That's what it comes down to a lot of times. Which is interesting you say that because that's kind of the next talking point is the fact that they rebooked Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. Shout out to Mohajed Fuyilat on Instagram. I believe that's how you say it. He makes the funniest animated UFC clips on the internet. Them shits are hilarious. He made one about this because Khamzat is always sick, bro. Unfortunately, COVID, like he is someone who is drastically affected by COVID in a young age, and the dude is just always sick. So at this point, I don't know what they had to offer Robert to commit to this fight again. This is going to be what, the third booking? The second official booking, but the third time that the conversation circled around him fighting.
You bringing it up like that just like brings me to another theory. I mean, not another theory, it's the same theory, but more evidence that why would you make Robert fight him again if this is not a number one contender fight when Sean is sitting on the sidelines saying he's the number one contender?
Maybe that's what they're negotiating for him. Your number one contender.
If Robert Whittaker chins Khamzat or just beats Khamzat, in whatever way, or even Khamzat wins the fight, are you putting an interim belt out there maybe if Izzy goes up and fights Pereira, you throw out an interim belt.
You do interim.
That's what it kind of it seems like.
It's starting to really
the script is writing itself in that sense.
In that sense, it makes sense. But also, this is on the flip side.
Quick turnaround for Robert Whittaker.
On the flip side of that, though, rebooking this fight after that quick turnaround isn't that huge of a thing because this was never supposed to be a contender fight. It was supposed to be a Khamzat proving himself fight. You know what I'm saying? So in that same vein, I think the negotiations were split. Right, it's a negotiation for Whittaker where it's like, yo, take this fight for us. We'll give you number one contender if you win it. And then on the Khamzat side is, bro, you get sick every time we book you for a fight. This is us saying, if you show up for this fight, we're not gonna cut you. And I think that's really where we're at. Because think about it, his last 5 bookings he did not show up for.
This is the first non-title fight that needs a backup.
Exactly, for the third time. His last 4. I said 5. My bad. I said 5. His last 4 bookings.
I think just those 2.
Khamzat's last 4 bookings.
He did
not show up for.
Oh, at all?
At all. It was Whittaker, Costa twice, and he did. Last 3. Sorry, last 3.
He showed up for Usman.
He showed up for Usman. Last 3.
That's why I was like,
Costa twice and Whittaker once.
Now, if he shows up.
If he doesn't show up, that'll be 4. Yeah, so that's why I said 4. The booking number was all over the place. So on that side of things, it's like, yo, at this point, if this illness that you keep having to pull out over is gonna keep recurring, we just can't keep you. You know what I'm saying? It's just at a certain point, you got to think about like, how many fans are we disappointing every time we book a match and then you get sick and can't show up? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how Hamza is one of those puzzle pieces, in my opinion, that complicates the division. Because you're always wondering, like, where does he actually fit? Like, when Khamzat comes in and fights, based on the record he has, is he due a title shot? You know, like, he's not someone that just needs to be tested still. The only thing in his way is that he keeps getting sick.
Hamzat Shimaya. Hamzat Sickmaya.
Sickmaya, bro. He's a sick puppy. He's so much for being the wolf, bro.
I did see some people joking that it was like a cold or stuff like that.
But that's the thing. Like, we don't actually know what it is. The only real thing we can confidently say is he caught COVID.
Well, the theory is his immune system has been ass since he
caught COVID. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he caught COVID,
panicked,
and his immune system's been crushed.
He panicked and he announced a retirement.
And that was it. Now, this fight, you said you're not excited for at all. Just a quick restatement in case anybody got confused. These are not this weekend's fights. These are just announced recently that are really exciting. But at least for me, this is really exciting. But Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov.
Maybe that statement was a little aggressive. At all. Like I said, it's the only thing I'm interested in this fight is Alexander trying to take him down this time, trying a different approach.
Oh, I said at all, my fault.
Yeah, at all. At
all is aggressive. At all is aggressive.
I might have even said that. Because.
But I'm excited for this because of the it's weird because we have the same reason, but we're on opposite sides of it. I'm excited because of the opportunity for Cyril Gane to show us, did Jon Jones win? I don't want to say fluke because that sounds too lucky, but was it like, did the stargazing moment really like impede Cyril Gane from being able to do what he does? And that's why he got submitted by Jon Jones so fast? Or were we stargazing by Cyril Gane because we were just so impressed by the fact that he is a heavyweight that genuinely moves with the speed of a lightweight? Like we were talking about his movement the way people talk about Tom Aspinall before we were talking about Tom Aspinall. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now the question is,
still faster.
Right, that's the question. Like, is he faster? Is he able to defend the takedowns? Were we blinded by his speed in the same way that people are assuming we're being blinded by Pereira's power?
Yeah, I think he's still faster. He's just not as comfortable in there because of not having that wrestling.
Yeah, and he's taken enough time off and should have done enough wrestling time. I feel like, who was it that invited him to come wrestle with them after?
Khabib?
It was, I don't know if it was Khabib, but I want to say someone in that region. It might have been Khabib, but someone invited him to come and practice grappling with them. And I hope he took the offer, and I hope we get to see it when this all comes to life later this year in October. And then, of course, the most important fight for that card that got booked is Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Ilia Topuria, Jamal Hill, and Joaquin Buckley have seemed to all decided to stick to the same game plan of figuring out how quickly they can turn the fans against them. Like, it's like they're all competing with each other to turn the fans against them as fast as they possibly can.
Are they his most recent? They're like the cringe man, the
right?
masters?
Like they're doing not even master of cringe, because Henry Cejudo's cringe was just corniness. Right? Like, so we were just like, ew, bro, you're just sounding corny. Just stop talking and fight so we can enjoy it.
Yeah, but like it's almost the same effect. Like
Ilia's is not so much cringe where it's just like, bro, maybe it is a little cringe, but I think for me it's just more annoying. It's like, yo, no one's going to believe you when you say, oh, they finally forced him to sign the contract. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, we all saw your face have the same reaction we all had. It's not saying that you're more scared to fight Max now, but we were all just as shocked when he knocked out Justin.
We never thought he was. We never thought he was scared of him.
No one believes that.
I never once thought he was scared of Max Holloway, but he was being very weird. Yep. And when you say it, when you have a statement like that, like, oh, we finally forced him to, I thought, damn, did they do the double belt thing? Is the BMF on the line now? Did he force that when he's not really a BMF yet?
Of course not. There's no way.
This is a very talented fighter. The sky is,
and that's what he's still trying to sell the idea of.
The sky's not even the limit. Like, he has all the skills to be 2-division champion.
All I know is I am praying that the odd makers make Max the underdog. Because without it, like, from right now, this is the lock of the
I think he is the dog.
He is for sure winning.
Lock is crazy.
He's for sure winning.
I'm not calling him a lock.
He's for sure winning.
I'm not calling him a lock after my lock of the week last week. Being a fanboy. I was being a fanboy.
Who'd you lock last week?
Bro, I convinced you.
Ferguson?
I convinced you.
You didn't convince me. I was convinced when I saw the odds.
I convinced you.
No, I was convinced but when I saw the odds, bro.
The odds is the reason why. The odds is the reason why.
Right.
You put $5 here, $5 there.
You are never supposed to bet with your heart, and that fight was the harshest reminder of that rule possible,
not?
Bro.
I lost $10. I would have won $1 million if I would have hit. Nah. I told you the odds is going to be crazy.
Bro, betting, you can't bet with your heart. And Tony Ferguson, I'm glad you reminded me of that because I got to say, like, listen, man, I know everybody's been saying it, and I'm just another voice saying it, but at this point, like,
he got to go.
It's done.
He looked awful.
You looked terrible. Well, I don't know.
I'm not even talking about how he fought. Physique.
No, I'm just saying physique-wise, his face, bro. He looked like Uncle, bro. That's Uncle Tony, and that's cool, bro. Your legacy is forever solidified. I know. I know how terrible it must feel to go out on a losing streak. And I get that that's like nobody is acknowledging that that's really what's on your mind. You do not want to end your career on a losing streak. And I respect that so much. I get it. But I just don't see anybody right now in either of the weight classes that you have tried to fight in that realistically you can end your career with a strong win against. So let's just call it. Let's just call it a wrap. That's it. The Chiesa fight, it was hard to watch.
I mean, it went how it was supposed to be honest.
I can't even say it went how it was supposed to because
it
did. A fight is supposed to look somewhat competitive. So when you have two people that are in a similar age group, they're both should be retired, right? No shade to Chiesa. He's doing a fantastic job fighting. But I think Mike Chiesa is already doing a great job on the other side.
He's on his farewell tour.
Yeah, there we go. He's on his farewell tour.
But he legit got 2 years. 2 years of 2 fights, 1 fight a year.
I was gonna say I don't measure it in years. I just measure it in fights. So I was gonna say
that's the thing.
I was gonna give him
that's
2
the
to 3.
thing.
I was gonna give him 2 to 3.
That's good.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying he's completely out the gate, but what I'm saying is comparatively speaking,
he's a journeyman. He's not fighting for
Tony and Chiesa are in the same league, right? The only difference is Tony's already done the farewell tour and lost savagely alongside. Like his tour should be over.
Yes, Tony was.
Chiesa's in the middle of his tour.
Tony spent his career being a fight away.
Right.
Chiesa's always been a fight away from a contender's fight.
Right.
If that.
Chiesa's always been in the rankings.
And at this point in the career, at Tony's career, this is a perfect measuring stick.
Yeah.
This is a guy who needed to fight somebody to get to where I was at. Needed to fight somebody and finish him bad to get to where I was at. And now I'm way behind him now.
Yep.
Like I'm on an 8-fight losing streak.
8-fight losing streak.
The matchmakers don't know where to put me.
Because there's no one for him to fight. There's literally nobody. Michael Chiesa was his very best last opportunity to win a fight. That was the one. And even that, we all knew the odds were slim. They were fun to bet on, but realistically, we didn't bet on. Like we knew we were throwing money away.
Yeah.
Like we weren't actually expecting it to hit. It was one of those things of like, if this hits, holy shit, we're gonna be happy as hell.
Betting on Tony is not something I'm gonna cry about ever.
But I'm gonna cry about it not because of the bet, but because of the loss.
It was hard to take. How bad he looked.
I feel like it broke my heart more because of the one glove thing. Like the one glove moment was like, oh man,
he don't want to accept it.
Bro, let it go.
He don't want to accept
please.
it. He left one glove. He said that it was just in case.
You will still mollywop 90% of the people you come across on the planet, bro. No one is gonna look at you any differently.
I don't know that he does. I don't know that he does.
Bro, the street fight Tony's taking on.
Yeah, have you seen how BJ Penn's street fight career has gone?
No, is he street fighting though?
Oh man, he's got into a lot of bar fights in his life.
Well, bar fights are different because you know he's drinking. BJ Penn has never actually fought drunk, so I feel like being drunk has a huge impact.
I'd like to believe that Tony in a bar will do his thing, but in a bar it's like there ain't no ref. You don't stop and go as you please.
Yeah.
They can do.
They
can do him dirty. That aura's gone.
But I also think that Tony still has enough technique in him to outclass the average person.
If he does, we haven't seen it in 8 fights.
He's not fighting average people, bro. He's fighting. That's why I said like the closest to an average.
The last time I seen him have some moments, I want to say it was against Michael Chandler before the
Michael Chandler before the soccer kick. That was the soccer kid was the final one.
That was the last time I
That should have been the one where it was over. Because from that point, like there was literally everything from then has been embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that fight was the last one you could look at and be like, that was Tony Ferguson literally on his goodbye tour.
Paddy wasn't embarrassing, but he definitely couldn't find the range. And I guess
Paddy wasn't embarrassing.
Guess I learned why. Paddy's a lot bigger than I thought he was, and he's right now climbing.
Yeah. But I think ultimately the conversation is the same as everybody's saying. Like it sucks to sound like a broken record.
You don't owe us anything, Tony. You're a legend.
I always hate when we end up having the same topics as other shows because I'm like, what's the point of watching this if everybody else is saying it?
Tony's is definitely the biggest star that fought this past week. It's just unfortunate that his star is dimmed. And that was 6 fights ago.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get Tony on the show. We're going to start getting UFC fighter interviews, so look forward to that starting soon. Really exciting. I'm really praying that Tony's somebody we get to talk to. That'll be fun.
Tony is not someone that'll be an easy interview because we love him, and being blunt is like...
Well, no, I don't think... I mean, honestly, for me, if we got the opportunity to talk to Tony, I wouldn't really talk about the end of his career at all. Like that would be the last part of the conversation. There'd be so much more fun shit to talk about.
It'll be hard to not ask, what is he thinking about next?
Nah, actually, it wouldn't be hard for me at all, to be honest. Like, I probably, to be real, the way maybe I'm wrong, but the way I foresee it, the most likely thing that'll happen is rather than ask him what's next, I could see myself suggesting shit. I'm like, yo, bro, Tony, like, at this point, bro, you need to get into movies, dog. Like, you would be an amazing face in movies. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, imagine Tony Ferguson in, like, a cowboy western movie, bro. He don't got the face for that, bro, to play a cowboy.
I think that'll bore him. It'll be a little too easy. I think we
can make it fun for him, bro. I think we can make it fun for him.
I'd like to see if he's gonna do a movie, he has to do something where it has nothing to do with fighting.
No, I was thinking something with a lot of stunts to keep.
No, I can see the stunts
because he's missing that adrenaline. So like,
I can see a soccer player.
Nah, not soccer. Nah, something like
not a professional soccer player.
It gotta be something. Not a professional soccer player,
but a kid that grew up playing soccer and took a different.
Tony Ferguson is Indiana Jones, is what we're talking about, bro. Like something crazy adventurous, bro. Like it would be mad fun to see him in. I think just at least the character that we came to recognize as Tony Ferguson, like fighting, everything he brought to the press conferences, that type of energy. I always thought he was like a very like comedic action type of person.
Comedic?
Yeah. You know, like I said, like an Indiana Jones, a Bad Boys type of Jones.
See him more of a castaway.
You're looking at old Tony, not real Tony.
No, but like I can see him in a movie like more of like savage character, like out there having to skin a.
Okay, yeah, something like that. Or right, like all right, Tony Ferguson in like a Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones type of John. Well, he's like a savage warrior or like a hunter, Viking type of thing. Like that would be crazy fun to see, bro.
He's a hunter gatherer.
All right, that brings us into this weekend's upcoming card, which again is not a. It's the summertime, right? Like that's kind of the best way to sum it up, in my opinion. It's the summertime, right? So, right now is the time of year where every UFC fighter on contract, I think, is promised somewhere between 3 and 5 fights, right? So, within like whatever your year span is. So, as they get to some of these fighters that we don't really know that well, they have to do these contract fulfillments. So we get cards like this, where, like Coach Mike always points out, these are the best cards to make money on. Even though you shouldn't take our betting advice specifically, these are the type of cards you wanna try to make money on because
we haven't seen much.
No one can really know. So the odds makers really a lot of them end up being pick'ems.
Yeah. We haven't seen much.
So let's go through together and see what should be exciting. I'm always excited about UFC debuts, so that's so I want to open it up with the first fight of the night: Stephanie Luciano versus Talita Anlakar. Stephanie Luciano is a UFC debut. I don't know a ton about her, but that's what always makes it exciting for me, is being able to just kind of see new faces. I think.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's my exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I
feel. As if you guys haven't been able to tell from the debates Mike and I have, I'm not as heavy in legacy of fighters. Like I am someone who I wouldn't say is part of the fight fans that are quick to forget what fighters have done, but I am excited about how things move forward in the sport. Like, how much bigger can the sport get? Can we actually get to that? Not necessarily in support of Dana wanting this dream, but just kind of like, wow, if that was my dream, that is a wild dream to have, and to see it done will be crazy. But like, can it get to a place where we find a fighter that gets so popular, it is watched on every screen available?
Yep.
Right? Like, it's with the way you can stream fights and the way we watch fights now, you can literally be watching a fight anywhere.
What seems like, I don't know who this is. I don't know how, this is the biggest moment for these people. So
right, it's a huge moment for them.
Him, her, all of it's going to be there.
Janata Denise versus Carl Williams. So contrary to this last weekend's heavyweight fight, this is a heavyweight fight of two people who are in shape. So it's a much more exciting fight. Carl Williams is still a very, very heavy wrestler. I think he's one of those collegiate wrestler guys with some heavy accolades in his background, but he does manage to do a good job of like entering with strikes and keeping it exciting before it gets to the ground. And he is very aggressive on the ground. He's not a lay and pray type of guy. He'll go for the ground and pound. He'll go for a couple different subs. He's not super technical, but I'm excited to watch, if you couldn't tell from that quick breakdown. Janata Denise, on the other hand, I don't know a ton about, but one thing I have been very wary of, this is the good type of stereotyping. Brazilians have been killing it this year. Brazilians have been making a turnaround this year.
For the most part, Brazilians.
Remember Amanda Nunes called out the Brazilians like 2 years ago when she was retiring? She was like, yo, that's it. I can't hold the division. I can't hold this shit for the country no more, bro. Y'all got to step it up. And then right there, Pantoja won. That was 2 years ago, bro. Pantoja came and won. And then Pereira came and won. And who else?
They've been dominant in the sport
somebody
for years,
else,
man.
Yeah, but now we're going right back to the Dagestanis holding all the belts, it looks like. So we'll see.
Damn, you already given Umar the belt.
I wasn't necessarily thinking about Umar in that moment, but yeah, I am giving Umar the belt already, bro. I'm giving Umar the belt already.
Gave you a chance to double down, and he doubled down.
I doubled down on it.
Damn.
Yo, Carl Rosa versus Penny Kianzad. As you guys know, I just love all of the women's fights. I think that as far as level playing field technique, the matchmakers always do a really good job with the women's fights. And it might just be that it's just that evenly matched in the women's divisions, but the entire, in my opinion, the entire ranking in the women's division is completely interchangeable. You could just swap names a la carte whenever you feel like it, and it would just still make sense somehow. Like, there's no one that's really certified dominant of the division that you're like, you can't move that name. Like, they could all be flip-flopped at any time. He's like, yep, no, that sounds about right. Like,
yeah. It's usually razor thin between divisions.
Exactly, always razor thin with them.
In the rankings until there's somebody that just stands out.
This is, I don't know if this is going to be an exciting fight, but I do love the continued expansion of the UFC. Again, as I just shouted out, big fan of the billion screen dream. That was tough to say fast. Holy shit. And in that route, they have been introducing more Japanese fighters to the UFC. And we have one of them, I believe there's two of them on this fight, because I think Kazama's fighting as well. But Yusako Kinoshita versus Johnny Parsons. So again, just really excited about the expansion of the UFC. So looking forward to seeing that. Oh, I was right, and it's the very next fight. So Shiomi Kazama is wow, he's the underdog in this. Okay, I'm a slam that because I definitely think he's gonna win this fight. I don't know much about his opponent yet, so I'm gonna look into that. His opponent appears to be a UFC debut as well. Charalampos Gregorio. Like I said, I'm gonna look into that. I am a Kazama fan.
Is he not like a contender?
He might be a contender series guy, so that could be interesting. Kazama's from, I believe it was Road to UFC was the name of the Japanese tournament that they did. So he's from that. I think he won or came in second. But truthfully, I became a fan of him because he has the same last name as Jin Kazama, one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite video games, Tekken. So got a little nerdy there, but I'm here for it, and he hasn't disappointed. He has not disappointed. Then we move into the main card, where the next exciting fight might be Yana Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. This one is a pick'em in the odds, and I understand completely why, because I feel like this is another SD Dumas versus Dennis Wheeler. These are pretty much the same fighter with different color hair.
I'm not familiar with Santos.
No,
I know Chelsea Chandler.
Yeah, so I've seen them both fight a bit, and I think they just overall fives across the board, right? Like if the scale is 10 for skill, they are confidently holding a 5 on every single skill set. Like just straight across the board, just strong 5. And for me, like I think that people overreact to 5s. 5 is not bad. It's average. It's middle of the road, right? Like 6 and 7.
Yeah, but you want to be good.
You want to be good at 8
something.
and 9. You want to be good at something. You want to be good at something. And that's why I think that this fight, although it's going to be exciting again, because I just think the women's divisions are just always so evenly well matched. This one might end up being a little bit more like.
Well, let me explain to you how it could it could be exciting, even though he just kind of spit on other talents. It's because
it's average.
Well, when it's evenly matched, it can lead to a dogfight, whether it's technical or not.
Or not, exactly.
So,
and I do think Chelsea Chandler is that type of dog.
And you kind of spit on because I would believe that they both have something that they believe is a path to victory.
Oh yeah, they should believe that they have a path to victory.
5s
for
all
sure.
around is kind of.
But I don't think from watching either of their fights, I don't think that either of them have astonishing grappling or astonishing wrestling or astonishing striking.
No, it's fair. It's
or
fair.
Astonishing takedowns.
It's fair, but it's
all right. So what is your number for average? Like, what is your number for like your average at this thing? Not in a bad way, but just not in a standout good way.
The thing is, there's something. I would say 6 is more average.
All right, so 6.
But everybody is below average in something. You know what I mean? In this kind of level.
But that's what I mean. In this, like between these two girls, I don't think either of them is below average. Like, I don't think either of them is bad at anything. I just don't think they're great at anything. That's what I'm like. So like that's why I think it's still going to be a pretty decent fight because technically speaking, like they both do pretty much everything right. Yeah, but they do everything right, like someone who is
definitely a below average.
So we'll say 6. Like I said, for me, the way that I look at it is like 9 and 10 is stellar, 7 and 8 is amazing, 5 and 6 is average, 4 and 3 is below average, and 1 and 2 is why are we even talking about this? Like,
can I at least get a 7 in cardio, 8 in cardio? What's up? Like. That's crazy.
Maybe to Chandler. We can maybe give her a 7 in cardio.
No, I'm not.
She's been around.
I'm not trying to twist your arm, but it is kind of.
She's been around long.
It was kind of a statement like, damn, 5.
All right, so 6. My bad. Not 5, 6. 6 is the number I mean. That's the description I was trying to get.
On average, in the skills is 6, and something's got something around there. Something around there is 3 or 2.
No, I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think anything they have is below that. I don't think anything is really above that either.
They're just not in a place in the ranking in a strong division for me to think otherwise, but yeah, I get it.
More importantly, though, we have the machine gun showing out this weekend. Chepe Mariscal versus Damon Jackson. Now, I do worry about this fight, right? I do think that Damon Jackson does possess just enough more striking than Chepe to be a threat. However, I'm all in on my man Chepe, bro. That's the guy, bro. He
probably wins the fight.
I'm rocking with Chepe. I hope I get to work with him on something soon because he's another fun face that I think will look great in some films. But yeah, I'm rocking.
How you feel about those odds?
I think that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Is like I think. On the odds side, maybe they should be a little closer to a pick'em, in my opinion. But they're not terrible right now. You know what I mean? They're not terrible.
It's not bad.
They're not terrible. And if you're on the Damon Jackson side of things, again, I sound crazy saying this and then giving you direct advice, but like, don't necessarily take our advice. You should head to We Want Picks. That's the people I listen to more often than not for specifically betting advice whenever I'm thinking about getting real strategic with it. But on a surface level, whenever I don't feel like logging into my premium account and I'm just betting for the fun of it, this is the type of fight where if I was on the Damon Jackson side as a fan, I would be happily smashing away on the money line or even a finish. Because just because I like if I was a Damon Jackson fan, right? Like as someone who's a fan of Chepe, I can say Damon Jackson has slightly better hands that are dangerous for Chepe. If I was a Damon Jackson fan, as heavy as I am of Chepe, I would confidently be like, oh, his hands are much better than Chepe's, and I would be willing to go for a KO, especially when he's an underdog.
Don't take my betting advice, but I see the over. I don't see a finish.
Yeah. I do think it goes to decision because I think Chepe wins. I think Chepe wins a split decision. I don't know if it'll be close. I think he's going to dominate with the wrestling. I just think that on the feet, there's a little bit of a threat that Jackson possesses. I might be completely wrong about that. I've been wrong before. I've been right before. Shit, we're all over the place. I don't do this professionally as far as studying the fighters. I just enjoy it. Don't know that one.
I think this might be off.
You think it's going to get canceled?
Wait, it's still up there. So it's
the Basharat brothers. I think Fareed is sick.
It was in danger.
Was it?
Or maybe whoever is this his first opponent?
Yeah.
This is his original opponent.
I believe so.
Gutierrez's original opponent right here.
I know that he was fighting Basharat. I don't know.
I read something about his opponent being possibly being out. So
well, Chris Gutierrez versus Javid Basharat. This, I think, will be the most boring fight of the night. I think Basharat is very, 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 very slow, and I don't know if Gutierrez is going to pressure enough to make it exciting.
He usually does. That doesn't mean it's going to be exciting, but he usually pressures.
And I could be completely wrong. But that is the co-main event, so we are hoping I am completely wrong, because the next fight is the main event of the night, and we've seen this fight before, so I guess we're kind of just hoping it goes different this time. This is Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak 2.
Marcin won?
Yeah, I believe Marcin Tybura won the first fight. And so it's a heavyweight fight. And we already know heavyweight fights, they go as they go, right? Like that's kind of the best way to put it. You really never know what exactly is going to happen. But
two well-rounded heavyweights too. They're not exactly like.
Yeah.
They're not sixes all around. They're a little better.
Oh no, he lost. Spivak won by decision.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think now the fighter that Tybura is more likely to get the finish. I think he's a little bit more aggressive as a fighter since then. They were both very early in their career, so it's the type of thing where the old fight doesn't really matter. It's been so long since then.
Will it be exciting? Will it be exciting, or will it be another decision?
I'm hoping it'll get finished, but I do see a lot of possibility that it goes to decision. So I'm split on that. I don't know if it'll be an exciting decision. I truthfully, I never know what to expect from Spivak. The last time that I accidentally bet on Spivak, and I'm saying that beforehand to then repeat it again after, was Sergey versus Sergey. I accidentally bet Spivak instead of Pavlovich. I meant to bet Pavlovich, and Pavlovich smoked him, right? Actually, what was his last fight since then? Now that I think about it, his last fight. Let's see. So yeah, that's right. Gane versus Spivak. That was after Gane fought Jones. He took that fight and beat him. Spivak versus Lewis.
He subbed him.
Versus Sakai.
He subbed the Black Beast.
Mm-hmm. Subbed, yeah. Let's see.
That's the thing.
Wait, no, this is not the right one. It wasn't Spivak. Never mind. Who was it? Sir Pavlovich versus who? I don't remember who it was. Never mind. So I actually haven't really recalled many Spivak fights. The last one I can, now that I'm looking at it in order, I do remember the Gane versus Spivak fight because that was important to see, like, is Gane still worthy of even being a true contender? Like, is his spot at risk? We were having that conversation where you thought he was ducking, and I was like, no, he definitely fought after John Jones. Like,
yeah, he did. It's just no.
The issue was not that he's ducking, is that after he beat Spivak, Aspinall and Pavlovich got the belt opportunity.
You would think that was
he ducked. Well, he didn't duck them, but he didn't.
You would think that would be more the test, because that's a submission guy right there. But he handled him. He knocked him out.
Yeah, he handled him. So now the bigger test is Volkov, because we just saw what Volkov was able to do to Pavlovich. So we can say Gane ducks Pavlovich, but ultimately the people that Gane has beat, or the people that we really look at
going
as
back
potential
to
threats.
Going back to Saturday, What's your fight of the night?
Oh, Saturday fight of the night. We talked about that. It has nothing to do with UFC, unfortunately. It's the boxing world.
Bud
Terrence Crawford versus I forgot his first name. Sergio Imodrov was hands down the best boxing match that I have seen this year, and maybe even the year before. Right, like the fancy knockouts and really exciting, like, brutal fights are really cool and all that. But this was the first fight for me in a long time that reminded me what it actually means to be watching the sweet science of boxing. Because on both sides, the guys were perfectly evenly matched in damn near every caliber. It seemed like power was evenly matched. It seemed like speed was almost evenly matched. It seemed like movement, control, like everything about the fight was very, very masterclass. Like they were both landing in ways that just looked amazing. Like if you felt like that fight was a robbery, you are a super fan of your fighter. That's what it was, right? Like if you feel like you're a super fan or
you're a hater of Bud.
Right? Either side. Because ultimately, like that fight was, I could not think of a more perfect boxing match, bro. Like that was literally the only way that boxing match could have been more perfect is if both of them had gotten a knockdown.
This was a
like if Bud had also gotten a knockdown.
This is proof why Bud is my favorite boxer right now. Like you can tell he didn't completely have this guy figured out. The range was giving him trouble.
Yep.
But he found a path to victory, and it wasn't moving forward. So it might look like he's being walked down, but he found the most success when he let him come forward, and he was sticking the left-handed jab in. He was sticking that jab. And that was for somebody that's only scoring at about 20%, you shouldn't go forward if that's not where you're landing.
I didn't see the Ruiz fight, so I got to catch that. I did see Isaac Cruz versus Valenzuela.
I thought
that was a pretty good fight too.
I saw some of that.
But even that's like a perfect contrast, right? Where it's like Crawford versus Imodrov was damn near perfect in every aspect of what a boxing match should look like. Valenzuela versus Cruz, midway through the fight, we're really just watching to see if Cruz is going to get a knockout. Valenzuela's pretty much winning, and we're all riding on what we count on. Pitbull should be able to knock this guy out, right? And then we got to decision, and Valenzuela is the new champion.
Pitbull was in a tank position where you thought he was gonna somehow pull off the knockout.
Somehow gonna pull it off, because that's what we expect. But but congratulations to both new champions. Congratulations to Bud, four division champion, bro. 4-division champion. Also, shout out to Clarissa Shields. She recently became a 5-division champion herself, stepping up to the heavyweight, which was weirdly, it was impressive, but also kind of just made me go back to the similar conversation in the UFC where, like, the problem is that there aren't a lot of like people available in these weight classes. So the girl she fought was the champion, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe her record was like 11-0 versus I forgot her name. Shields' record is like 40 and something.
Who Shields lost to?
Who Shields beat. She beat her for the belt, for the heavyweight belt. Her first heavyweight champion. That's how it became 5th.
In boxing.
In boxing, yeah. In boxing. So the girl she fought was like 11-0. So still kind of new by comparison to the amount of fights Clarissa has. And then when you see the fight, it's like the way Clarissa dominates her is like, weight has nothing to do with what's happening right now. This is just two people who box very, very differently. And one is way better than the other.
Clarissa Shields is a very talented boxer.
I still say the fight we need to see, and I know we probably never will, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields. I want to see it.
Size matters, bro. Size matters.
Are they that different in size, though? Clarissa Shields just went
to the naked eye. I do not know what their weight class is. To the naked eye, it's a big difference. It's bigger than Crawford versus Canelo, and I think that size matters.
Let's see real quick. Before we wrap the show, we're going to wrap it on this bit of information. Let's find out.
I'm telling you,
Let's find out for the people at home. Clarissa Shields.
Clarissa Shields is a lot bigger than her. I'm going to mention every chance I get.
Clarissa Shields fights at... Oh, shit. Should not zoom in. Clarissa Shields fights at 165 is her average weight.
Yeah.
And Amanda Serrano...
135er.
Fights at
Maybe 115.
Oh, shit, they gave her all of these, bro. Hold on. Damn it.
What's the highest she's ever fought?
Damn it, why was it easier for you? Oh, 122. That's a 40-pound weight difference. 5'5" versus 5'8". So height-wise is not that different. I feel like they could give us a super fight and meet in the middle at the 140, bro. Why not? That's only 15 pounds. It'd be 25 pounds down for Clarissa and 20 pounds up for Serrano. So it'd be extra to ask for. But I think Serrano will get the win. And I would love to see the fight. I don't know. I'm a Serrano fan, bro.
You think Amanda Serrano beats Clarissa?
I think looking at them, taking away weight for a second, just looking at them boxing skill wise, I think Serrano's the better boxer.
Possibly.
And that's why I say if we can get them at a super fight where we can get them in the middle of these two weight classes, because again, Serrano's fighting at 133. That was the highest that we saw so far, right? Which is only 30 pounds away. So if she can go up another 10, right? We're now at 143. And if we can that's her up 20 pounds. And if we can get Clarissa down 20 to 143, we got a beautiful super fight. And then we get to see who's the better woman fighter, who is the greatest woman boxer of all time. Because that would be the yeah, right now, hands down, is between Serrano and Clarissa. Hands down. Who else between Serrano and Clarissa?
So Layla Ali didn't walk on this planet.
And Layla Ali is a good counterpoint. But
I'm under the thinking that
Layla Ali didn't hit 5-weight wins, bro. And remember, Serrano, 7-weight champion. Clarissa, 5-weight champion.
My eyes don't lie, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But again, we are very different on you super value legacy. I super value the actual like continued progression. So Layla, for me, that's 7 weights. Say what you like. I'm not doubting. Like I'm not putting Layla down at all.
Clarissa's dominating. She's dominating.
No, Clarissa got 5. Serrano got 7. Serrano has 7 weight classes that she's been a champion in. Clarissa has 5.
It's amazing, but
Terrence has 4, and you think he's one of the greatest boxers of all time, bro?
I never said that Terrence is one of the greatest boxers of all time. I say he's the best boxer right now.
And right now will be one of the times, bro.
He's not the greatest.
He could be on that list of like top 10. I would say somewhere in there.
The greatest of all time. I think he can, and the way he cements it is not even in the boxing ring.
You want to see him fight in the UFC so bad, bro. You want to see him fight in the UFC so bad, bro. That one takedown video you saw is not enough for me. Bro.
It's not about a takedown video. He has a wrestling background.
I know, but I think he's been in the boxing realm too long for it to kick in naturally when he steps into the cage. But this is not me opposing it. I would love to see it too. I just don't want to see it as much as you do. I'd rather see him become a 5-weight champion than see
if he can win a UFC belt. Wow.
That would be outrageous.
That would make him the greatest.
That would make Pereira's run look like nothing. That would make, bro, because nobody pays attention to kickboxing the way they pay attention to boxing.
Yeah.
So the fact that Pereira's a 2-time champion in kickboxing and he got all this attention,
but it's
plus
also,
the story.
The story.
But Crawford coming in with his own story, like look at the names he's beat, bro. He put a pounding on Errol Spence. And this is the story right here, bro. If he says, now that I'm a 5-weight champion, I'm gonna go shut these MMA fighters up. They always talking about we get the advantage because they have to come to us. I'm coming to you. Bro, that's the story right there. Everybody's tuning in. Every boxing fan in the world is buying that pay-per-view because they want Bud to shut the MMA community up, bro.
All the haters, because he has a lot of haters.
That shit will go crazy, bro. The boxing community would be so tuned in just to try to prove their point, bro, because that's really the final piece. If they can actually get a boxer to show up and win and dominate in the MMA, then boxing solidifies its point because MMA fighters have not been able to do well in boxing.
I would love to see that, man.
So that's where we're going to wrap the show for this week. I think it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can follow me at WhatUpVega. You can follow Coach Mike at SF Big Mike. And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.
Holla.